Hi, welcome. If your support team runs on Zendesk and your engineering team works in Azure DevOps, this is the video for you. What I'm going to show you is a live sync between ADO work items and Zendesk tickets. Status, comments, attachments, and fields flowing both ways. If you would like to follow along after, you can get started here and then start a free trial. Let's get into it. This one we will be running through Getint SaaS or our on-premise option. So after installing or creating your connection, you will land on a page like this. From here, you will create an integration, select Continue Sync, and then choose the apps. We will start on this side with Azure DevOps, create the connection, and then we'll go to DevOps Continue. Let's copy the URL, click here, and then Personal Access Token. You will need to create a new token and give it a name. Now for this, you need to give an expiration date. You can give any date that works for you. And then select the scopes. We recommend that you go to our website and check the documentation on which scopes are the ones that you need to select. But for this demo, I will select full access. Create. And now we copy this personal access token. Now back to Getint, we'll pass the URL that we have just copied, and then next, and then use our email address that we copied the personal access token from, and then the personal access token. Add, and now we select the connection. Let's go to the connection that we have just created, and then select one of our projects. Let's connect the project, and now Azure DevOps is connected. Now let's go to Zendesk. Connect app, Zendesk, create a new connection. Now we'll go to Zendesk, copy the URL, select in here Admin Center, Apps and Integrations, API Tokens, and then add an API token. Add the name and save. Now you copy the token and go back to Getint. In here you will pass the URL, select Next, use the same account that you were using to create the token, and then pass the personal access token that will work as a password. Select Add, and then we will choose the connection that we have just created. Now we will go ahead and select one of the organizations that we have in there, and then connect. Now we have both sides connected, and let's map the types. In here, you will select Start with Mapping Types, choose which one you want. I will start with Task, and then Ticket on the other side in Zendesk. Add, and then the tool will try to match and map the fields that you have there. From here, we can select Task, and then you will see the fields that the tool already mapped for you. So you'll see title, description, priority, and tags. From here, you can play around with directions. So I can choose everything to flow just to Zendesk or just to Azure DevOps. I will leave this like this for both way synchronization, but you are free to decide how you want each field to work. In here, you can also select if a field should work as on create or on update, the same for any of the fields, and this also can be selected from inside each field. If you want to add more fields, you can select Add Field Mapping, select one field, for example, Assign To, and then on the Zendesk side, Assignee. Now, if you select that option, you will have to match all the assignees from here. So like this, which the assignee on the other side. Select Add, and your assignees will be mapped. You can do that with all the assignees that you have on both sides. I will just leave it like this for this demonstration. Now we close. And since I'm happy with the fields that I have mapped for this demo, let's move on to status. Under status, you have the option for custom status on Zendesk, but I will choose it to the default one that comes with the tool. And we'll also see mapping with similar ones. For the ones that are not mapped, let's map it manually. So let's do done to closed and add, and also to do to new. Now, as you can see, I have other options in Zendesk that are not mapped, and we don't have anything similar to the other side. So what I can do is add, for example, open to new, and now all of these ones, when selected in Zendesk, will translate to do in Azure DevOps. Now let's leave it like this, but you can do this option for all the ones that you have in here. Moving on, we have comments and attachments. In here, we also have a bi-directional side. So you can do both ways. You can also do only to Azure or only to Zendesk. You can also select if you want to allow or exclude certain comments based on your criteria on both sides by selecting certain attributes like author name, content, and the date of creation. And again, the values on the other side. We can enable the attachments and also play with the directions in here. I can put only to Azure or only to Zendesk or both ways if that works best for my team. I will leave as it is, and then we can apply. Now, the basic setup is done. I just need to save, but before saving, I want to show you how we can filter out the data if I don't want everything flowing both ways. So I can select here the filter icon, and then based on any field that I want, select an operator and a value. So for example, I can play with a tag and then add contains and then a value. So let's say I create a tag called sync, and only the items that have that tag should be synchronized. Once I add this filter, Getint will then exclude everything else from the syncs and only synchronize the items that match this criteria. This works for both ways, so you see the icon option in this side as well as Zendesk side, and then you can put the filters as you prefer. For the purpose of this demo, I will leave the filters out to keep it simple, and then just give it a name. So let's select the name and create. And now we have the first workflow created. Now we'll go to the latest runs and see what happens. As you can see, we have already a run happening with the name of the integration, the ID, the mode that is running on, and the execution time, so the time that it took for the run to happen. Of course, right now we have no items as I didn't create anything after the creation of this integration, so Getint doesn't have anything to pull. And the status showing that everything is correct and we can proceed. Let's create something on ADO and see what happens. And here we'll go back to my projects and create a work item. Let's do a task. It's important to give it a title, the to-do status, and add a description. We can also add an attachment by coming here, add attachment. Now we save and go back to Getint. We have had a run happening, so let's wait and see what happens next. As you can see, our runs are happening every minute. So we had a run 2 minutes ago, another almost a minute before, and then we will have one anytime now. On our on-premise option, the runs happen every minute, whereas on our SaaS option, you will see runs happening every 180 seconds or 3 minutes. So now we have the run happening, and as you can see, again, we have the ID of the run, the name of the integration, the mode, and now we have something that came through. Let's go under the details. And here we will see the item that triggered the synchronization, the item that was created from the synchronization, and then the mode. This mode was on create because there was no synchronization between those items, so the item had to be created. If we click on the ID of the item, you will see then a summary of all the fields that were included in the synchronization, along with a URL that will take you to that item. The same happens on the other side, and we can click on the link to then see the item created. Here you will see the description of the item, the attachment that I add, and also the information that will appear on this side, right? So we'll see assignee, the requester here, and you will see also the status that is new. Let's do a change on this side as well, adding a comment, and then changing the status. Now we go back to Getint and wait. Now here we go, we have another sync. Let's go there and see. So here you'll see again the item that started the synchronization, the item that was synced with, and now this mode was update because we changed the things on that side. If you click again in here, you will see that the summary is here, the URL as well, and then the synced with item, the same thing. We can go back using the URL and check the changes. You will see that now we have the comment that came through and everything is flowing properly. That's it. If this was useful, like the video, drop any questions in the comments, or subscribe if you want to see more connectors. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.